What is up, guys, and welcome back to episode 2 of September's Pushing to Legend series. Today, I'm still hanging out at rank 5. Today, playing a bit of Battlecry Shaman. I've got 2 games for you here today, a short one and a really exciting second one, so I would recommend you hang around for that. As you can see, we're up against a priest here, which seems to be kind of my main nemesis on this YouTube channel at the moment. I choose to keep the Mogu Flesh Shaper and the Mutate in the opening hand just because of how strong that is against minion heavy decks, which this priest certainly is. My hand is pretty average, but I do draw the AAECAaoIBO out, which gives me a turn 2 play at least, which is super handy. So turn 2 here, he has nothing to heal, which he's kind of not too happy about. Obviously he wants to buff this. He's actually going to hit my face and then heal me for the 1. So I guess kind of makes sense. It's a little bit strange, but to buff his guy to a 3-2 probably is worth it. So I am just going to play the AAECAaoIBO right here. I get the Titanic Lackey, which is possibly one of the weaker lackeys you can get, but still reasonable in this matchup. At least give me a bit of extra time, especially if I manage to unlock the hero power. I've got the Giggling Inventor here, which is a new add-in to this deck. I did change the deck up a bit. The new deck code will be in the description, and the new deck list will be showed at the end of the game, as at the end of the 2 games, as always. So he's going to buff up his Light Warden again here, so it's getting pretty big here, a 5-4. I'm getting pretty close to being able to play this Mogu Flesh Shaper and the Mutate, which is going to be really good. So here I do just play the Bog Slosher just to have a 3-3 in play, and also to get the quest ticking over. I had a few other options there, but this seemed to be the best line of attack, just so I at least have something to contest the board. If I fall too far behind here, I'm going to lose. Obviously, I have a serious late game advantage over the priest, and it's just this early to mid game that I have to stay alive for, basically. So he's going to choose to trade here by the looks of it, actually, which is good for me. I mean, that was kind of the idea of playing this guy, just to prevent some damage. He actually makes a pretty serious misplay here in terms of placement with that Tolvi Warden. As you can see there, he's noticed his mistake and he's not too happy about it. The mistake obviously being, well, is obvious when he plays his next card, which is the Ritualist. He could have got a lot of value out of that healing there, and instead is only able to heal 1 card, which is a pretty serious mistake on his part. So I do have the Mogu Flesh Shaper here, which is super great, and then I am going to be able to mutate it, hopefully for some serious So game 2 here is a Shaman mirror. As you can see, I did not start recording when I should have here, but I am very glad that I did start recording this game late, because it is a super interesting one. And it really highlights the changes that I have made in these decks. The main changes of the deck I'm going to explain after this video. But yeah, it's a really interesting match, and I would recommend you watch. I am going to coin out the Evil Totem here. Turn 1, obviously we're playing a Battlecry Shaman mirror here, which is something I actually don't come across that much. He plays the Questing Adventurer there, which is super nice, meaning that I'm going to get 2 procs of this Evil Totem. I am just going to play the quest there, a pretty sad turn 2, but kind of worth getting the 2 lackeys out of this guy. If you're ever getting more than 1 lackey, I think it's pretty worth it, just because it is a 0-2, it's pretty easy to kill. So it's super nice. So he is going to play his own totem and the Sludge Slurper as well. So I am super far behind here on board. I am kind of getting punished for coining out that turn 1 rather than playing the quest there. I am here just going to play the Novice Engineer, draw a card, and then give it Rush so I can kill off his totem. He only gets the 1 proc off his, which is super nice. Obviously, the more you can minimize the value of that guy, the better. So here he's going to play the Sandstorm Elemental, pretty easily clear my board, hit the face for 4, and also Titanic Lackey. So his board, as I was saying before, he's really taking control of the board, which is super not good for me, especially in this mirror matchup where I'm going to get beat down pretty quickly here if I don't manage to regain it. So I get the Faceless Lackey off the AAECAaoIBO route, not a bad one. I'm just going to play that out. try and contest the board, kind of build up to where he is at. Get a 3-2, which is pretty good. It's kind of a little bit better than average, and I am actually going to Witchy Lucky here onto my Evil Cable Rat, just because, like I said, I really need to catch up on board here. I actually get pretty fortunate with getting a 4-3 mana, which is super nice. None of his minions are 3 attacks, so he's going to have to double trade into that. So I got pretty lucky there, and it's definitely helped me fight back on board a bit here, where basically almost on par once he does all that trading. He's going to play the Twilight Drake here, which is not something that I have seen ever, I don't think, in Battlecry Shaman. It's pretty cool. Obviously, you can get a super big Drake once you've completed the quest, which is kind of nice, a bit sticky and hard to deal with. I am going to play my Questing Adventurer here and finish off the quest first, which is pretty cool. I've made the mistake of not toteming there first, which is fine. I have the Sandstorm Elemental there, a bit of a weaker Sandstorm Elemental, but I do kill off his Lackey Generator, which is good, means he can't bounce it back with a Bog Slosh or anything like that. So he's going to play his Ethereal Lackey here, which he generated off his Evil Totem, discover a spell, and that is going to complete his quest also, just one turn after mine. So we're pretty even here, kind of same amount of cards in hand, similar board presence, and things are looking, I mean, it's super hard to tell who's winning here. But he's going to Bog Slosher his Lackey, which is super strong for him. Obviously, the Battle Cry, it's going to be a 1 mana 5/5, discover 2 spells, which is obviously nuts. I draw the Giggling Inventor here, which is pretty good. Obviously, later in the game, kind of turn 9 onwards is when you want to be playing that, when you can Hero Power and basically fill the board with Annoytrons, which can be really sticky to deal with. So here I don't have any great plays. I have the option to Bog Slosher. I can Sandstorm, Elemental. I am just going to Hero Power Bog Slosher here, make a big 6/6 Elemental, and put that back into my hand. He's going to start off his turn here with the Hero Power and lead that into the Evil Cable Rat, obviously generating some pretty good value there. This matchup is more or less going to be won based on, I mean, who has the most value, who can generate the most lackeys. The lackeys are super powerful, especially with the Hero Power. Obviously, you're dealing 4 instead of 2, you're making bigger taunts, etc., etc., and you're discovering 2 spells here. So he's definitely taken control of the board here, which is a little bit scary for me. My hand isn't super strong, and I don't have a lot of great ways to deal with this stuff. He's going to just discover a Battlecry minion here. It's often a secret, a spell, sorry, that you see being picked by the Battlecry Shaman. I often pick it myself just to get some extra value, get a good card that you can boost up with the Hero Power. I draw into a Sludge Slurper here, which is pretty nice. Obviously, I'm going to Hero Power before doing anything here. All the cards I want to play this turn are Battlecry minions. I want to play that down, get my 2 lackeys. I managed to get a Rush Lackey and a Kobold Lackey. The Kobold Lackey obviously being super strong here. I can also have the option to return it to my hand. I have the Bog Slosher. Often this little guy here is one of the cards that you want to be putting back in your hand, just because it is so strong. You can use it to deal with minions. You can use it to deal a lot of face damage. It's just super versatile. So here I actually choose to play the big Sandstorm Elemental to clear off his board, which is super nice. It gives me a pretty strong board presence, this 6/6, and also, like I said, able to clear off his board. Now coming up to turn 8 here, I am going to want to try and avoid playing any Overload cards, just so if I need to on turn 9, I can Hero Power Giggling Inventor. That's, I wouldn't really call it a power spike of the deck, but it's a super defensive play that you can make. He's going to Hex my 6/6 here, which is a bit of a pain, especially when that Hex is generated off of the Ethereal Lackey. He's going to Hero Power there. We'll see if he's just kind of ending his turn there, or if he actually has something to play with this Hero Power. He does. He's actually going to Kobold Lackey me right in the dome. So that's 4 damage to face. But overall, a pretty weak turn for him, especially in terms of board presence. This Barista here is one of the other changes that is in the deck. I did start with the Barista, but kind of found it to be slow a lot of the time. But it is a super value generator. It allows you to obviously just put a whole lot of Battlecry minions and Lackey creators back into your deck, which is super strong and important in those control matchups. So I'm going to put my Kobold Lackey back in my hand and then play it back down. Just kind of want to keep up on the pace with him. He's obviously interested in dealing a lot of face damage playing that Kobold last turn, so I'm going to do the same, and also just that board presence of the 5/5 more than anything else. So I absolutely did not play him out around MC Tech there, which is super bad on my part. You're always got to be wary about how many minions you have on board against Battlecry Shaman, because MC Tech is pretty much always a 1-of and very often a 2-of in this Battlecry Shaman deck. So thankfully he only steals the frog. Got pretty lucky there. He's going to play his Mogu Flesh Shaper here for pretty cheap, which is good. Hopefully he doesn't have some sort of evolve ability in hand. So he's going to Lava Burst my 5/5 again from the Ethereal Lackey. Going to trade into my 3/3, clear off the board, and he will find out he does have the Witchy Lackey. Thankfully, he didn't manage to get off the hero power, but he gets Tyrion. So that, I mean, that's super sad. Tyrion is so strong. Every class would probably play Tyrion if they could. And yeah, I mean, he gets off his Flesh Shape. I mean, obviously that's why people play it. It's a super strong combo. But I am able to attack back here pretty hard with my own really big turn 9. Hero Power, Giggling Inventor, and then the Mutate is another really good combo, as well as the Evolve Lackey. With the Giggling Inventor, just because obviously that it's a 2/1 7 mana card, so you can buff that up pretty nicely. I get an Ironbark Protector here. Possibly a little bit unlucky in the sense that I got a taunt. He can attack straight into it and kill it with his Tyrion rather than having to waste his Divine Shield on an Annoyatron, which would have been probably ideal. He's going to hit the hero power there and weaponize Wasp me straight in the face. So he's playing pretty aggressive here, obviously throwing the Kobolds and the Lackey straight at my face here. I think if I was him there, I would have probably Wasped into the Ironbark Protector. We see he doesn't do that just because of the MC Tech. He's hoping to steal it, but I still think, honestly, that it was the better play to Wasp the taunt. But anyway, he steals 2 of my Annoytrons, which is not good at all. And I'm just going to continue to play super defensively here. I'm going to just, again, hero power and play another Giggling Inventor. I'm going to attack into the frog here, but I'm not going to attack anything else. I do want to keep these Divine Shields up just to keep me alive as long as possible. But I'm in a super bad position here. Obviously that Tyrion being the most daunting thing, he's got that. He's going to get 15 damage worth of weapon power after that. He's generating more lackeys, as we can see there, and he's going to slam the Life Drinker there and take me down to 6. So for him, another Life Drinker is lethal, another weaponized Wasp is lethal, and he has a huge board, so things are not looking good at all right here. He's going to continue to trade there where he can, and that's going to be that for me. So again here, I'm going to hero power and play the Sandstorm Elemental. That is dealing a lot of damage to him and actually clears the board pretty wide, which is nice. He didn't play that around that very well at all with all the trading that he did, so that was nice for me. I am going to then buff up my Giggling Inventor just so I can trade into his Tyrion. His weapon is looking not that useful against my large amount of Taunt Divide Shields, and then I am going to be going to make sure to fit in the Life Drinker here just so I can get myself out of range of those 6 damage lethals that I was talking about before. So I've definitely made a serious comeback here, pretty much all due to this Sandstorm Elemental, which I kept in hand. That was very nice and kind of lucky that I still had that there. He's going to hero power and play Swamp Queen Hagatha. Now this is a little bit scary. I've actually taken the Swamp Queen Hagatha out of this deck, which I'll talk a bit about after this match, but it is strong and it is super value. Obviously he's going to generate 2 here, and then next turn he can hero power each one, or he can play both. But I find that the fact that you're teaching it shaman spells isn't really worth it. So I mean, obviously he can high roll here and get super good ones, but so much of the time for me I found that it wasn't really good, which is why I took it out. So fingers crossed I was right in making that decision and he doesn't blow me back with this next turn of Swamp Queen Hagatha generated spells on minions. So here I'm just going to do a little bit of trading just so I have the board space to be able to hero power and play my former champ here. Former champ is just a one-off in this deck now. It's definitely the weakest card in the deck, and it can definitely be substituted out for some other things, which I can talk about in a later video. There are definitely some other options for former champ, but I'm keeping with it at the moment. It seems better than the other minions, and at this point in time especially, it's going to prove to be pretty good. Just really buffing up my board and giving me the chance to have lethal next turn, obviously depending on what he does here. So I am pretty afraid of these spells. So he's going to play us his first horror, which is Mutate and Earthquake. So Earthquake is going to be a full board clear, which means that he doesn't get the Mutate off, but it is going to save him from my really massive board. So good play by him there. He's going to then hero power, obviously whack me in the face with that weapon and draw 2 cards with this Novice Engineer. He's also going to Faceless Lackey. And as you can see, Shaman's ability to, kind of create a wide board, draw 2 cards, all just from like 4 or 3 mana is pretty insane. He mutates there. He's 3-2 down to a 2-1, so a bit unfortunate for him there. I'm just going to slam this Shuttle Walk just primarily because I know it is going to give me the battle cry of both of the Giggling Inventors, and that's just what I'm after here. I don't have any defensive play in my hand other than that, which is the only reason why I'm doing that. So I get the former champ as well, the 5-5. I evolve it into another 5-5. I actually managed to pick off that 2-2 spell damage with the Kobold hero power, which is super nice, and all of a sudden I am super in control here. His board is clear completely. I have a huge wide board. I've drawn a bunch of cards to refill my hand, and this is exactly why Shuttlewalk is so strong. I've gone from being so far behind to so far in front, which is absolutely nuts. So I'm thinking about taunting, but I actually choose to evolve. I managed to evolve that 5-5 twice, and it both times it ended up being a 5-5. So pretty unlucky there with the evolve, but it's not looking like it's going to matter. My board is so big, I don't think he really has any comeback cards here. He is mousing over that that second horror that he created with Swamp Queen Hagatha, which is scaring me a bit. I'm not sure if this is... At the time, I wasn't sure if this was BM, and if he was about to absolutely blow me back with something nuts. Hero powers, again, scary, but then ends up playing a Novice Engineer. At this point, I am pretty confident that it is all over. So the second one is Lightning Storm and Berserk Lightning, so pretty strong, and it is actually going to clear almost my entire board, but it's not quite going to be enough. I'm still going to have enough damage on board. Oh, no, I'm not. After it goes off twice, I'm actually not going to have anything left, but I have more than 10 damage, 10 burst damage in hand. Between the Life Drinker and the Weaponized Wasp plus the Lackey that I held on to for exactly this reason, I have more than enough damage to take him out of here. So a super cool second game there, showing obviously how strong the comeback mechanisms can be within Shaman. I was super far behind there on board, I was down on life, but I still managed to come back and take the win there, mostly thanks to Shadowhawk, which is obviously a super strong card. So that is game number 2. Again, still just hanging out here at rank 5. So guys, thank you if you made it all the way to the end of this video. As always, any likes or comments, feedback, positive or negative, is greatly appreciated. Feel free to comment down below. I'll make sure I get back to you and take on board anything that any of you guys say. Just a few quick things that I'm going to mention here over the top of opening some packs. First of all, just quickly about the deck. I didn't really get into it at the start, but this is the same Battlecry Shaman, essentially, that I featured in the last video, with the major difference being that there is now 2 Giggling Inventors in the deck. I only have 1 former champ. I took out the 2 Voltic Bursts, and I put in a second Bog Slosher. So those are the main 2 differences there. I also took out the Bloodlust as well. So these changes were majorly inspired by Zalay. I'm sure anyone watching this video probably knows who Zalay is, but he's been playing a heap of Battlecry Shaman, and after watching some of his content, it definitely seemed like this was the most successful death list, and taking out the Swamp Queen Hagatha, which I thought was really good, and helping me win long control matchups like against the Warrior, seems to actually be a bit too slow and clunky, and that you are still more than able to beat and are actually favored against Control Warrior even without the Swamp Queen Hagatha. So the changes are good. I'm really liking the deck. I think I'm going to probably play this for a while, at least for the next few ranks, just to get good at it. I definitely still need some more practice with it. Secondly, I've just downloaded a new editing software for these videos, which is super exciting. The one I'm using is good, but it's pretty basic. There's a lot of stuff that you can't do in it, so hopefully this upgrade will allow me to bring some even better content, produce some better quality videos, and like I have said in the past, I am looking forward to doing live videos with a face cam. I know that people generally prefer to watch that kind of thing. Obviously live reactions are better, and you can kind of explain your thought process play by play, which is more interesting to watch. I will get there. I'm super busy at the moment with everything that's going on in life, but hopefully we will get there shortly so we can improve these videos even more. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in episode 3.